Hello, everyone. Today we speak with Ankita Jha, founder of AugMentor India Legal Services, a firm that sits at the crossroads of technology, intellectual property, and startup strategy. With over 17 years of experience across law firms, multinational corporations, and high growth AI startups, Ankita has helped companies build IP portfolios, structure global agreements, and design compliance frameworks. Today, she shares her journey, the moments that shaped her philosophy, and why she built a firm that she always wished existed.
Okay, so we are starting with the questions now. Yes, so ma'am, you've had quite an interesting journey, like from technology to law, and now founding Augmentor India. Will you please tell us a little more about how that journey unfolded?
So first of all, thank you for having me, Soumya as well as Pragya. It's a pleasure meeting you both. So honestly, my journey into law was really never planned. If someone would have asked me at the beginning of my career that one day I would be running a legal firm, I probably would have laughed. I actually started my career as a software engineer. Like others, I used to write codes and debug systems. Some days it would work beautifully, other days my code had bugs more than the features. So very soon I had realized that coding is not my cup of tea, and I moved into the intellectual property field. So I joined a law firm wherein I learned about patents, trademarks, copyrights, and I have worked both in law firm as well as in-house legal counsel with corporates as well as startups. And that combination actually gave me very interesting perspective. Um, at law firm, I would say that I saw the legal side of the problems, whereas in-house, you see the business impact of those problems. And somewhere between those two worlds, I started noticing patterns. So most of the biggest challenges that companies faced were not technical at all. They were actually legal ones that appeared too late. So, Soumya, I started noticing something that felt a little uncomfortable. Some of the startup founders that I met with, they were building incredible technology, but they were also one contract away from losing control to it. I saw startups preparing for funding rounds, but they were not ready or they were not aware of the intellectual property ownership structure. So I even saw partnerships break because there were no clear agreements. Like there will be, like who would be owning the technology or how it could be used. So all these were not careless founders, I would say, but these were brilliant people building amazing products. Um, when you are running a startup, your priorities actually look like this. First, build the product. Second, get users. Third is get funding. And fourth, get some sleep if possible. And finally, if the time permits, then they think about legal. So legal often ends up somewhere near the bottom of the list. But so what I feel is legal support should not appear only when something goes wrong. It should be part of the journey from the beginning.
Um, I'm very much curious about your intention behind the name Augmentor. So, how did you come up with that name and what's the story behind it?
Hmm, that's actually one of my favorite questions. So the name augmenter came from combination of two ideas that define how I see my role with founders would be. So first word is augment and the second word is mentor. So augment in technology, as many of you would be knowing, means enhancing something. So it becomes stronger or more capable. Whereas the second word, mentor, is because I never wanted the firm to feel like a traditional law firm. So I wanted to be as a mentor to these founders or the startups who don't have any idea whatsoever about the legal formalities. So I wanted it to feel like a guide for the founders while they are building it. So this is actually the story behind Augmentor India.
Okay. And which year did you start this in?
So I've recently started. It's just 1 month. I
Okay.
I have started it in February 2026.
Okay. So that means you work with both startups and large enterprises.
Right, right.
Uh, Pragya.
Yeah, so seeing that you've worked with both startups as well as large enterprises before this, what is the basic difference or a difference at large scale that you would notice?
Um, the biggest difference I have noticed is, I would say, speed. So many large companies usually they will be having an established legal system and processes, whereas startups move incredibly fast. They do not have any, like, the basic contracts also are not in place. So what they have to do is they have to make the decisions very quickly. The partnerships that they are building, that has to be really rapid. And I would say the product also evolves very quickly. So that speed is really exciting. If I would say I have worked with a startup where I enjoyed the speed of the execution of any kind of decision making or any kind of things that we work together. But having said that, there is also a problem wherein everybody has to be aware of. Since startups move very quickly, many times there are some legal oversights that can grow into really large problems. So yeah, our role as Augmentor India is to help startups maintain their agility while making sure that they are building the core product really strong with clear ownership, clear contracts, there are compliances in place, everything like legally they should build something from the starting.
So, ma'am, can you share the experience of one VP partnership? Like, what were the primary objectives, the challenges you faced, and like, what did it achieve for the firm?
Yes, of course. So this one vendor platform collaboration actually started in a very organic way. So Shan Datta and Ankit Pant, they were my batchmates from BIT Mesra. So they founded one BP. And one day Sushant reached out to me when he was building the early structure of one vendor platform. So what I really appreciated about Sushant was that even though he was still building and learning in many ways, as most of the founders, they are not aware whether they should bring the legal aspect in the starting itself. So generally, legal is an afterthought. Once you have built something, then if there is a problem, then the legal counsel is introduced to solve those problems. Whereas what I felt was Sushant, having known me, he actually uh, told me about his product, introduced me about what are the problems that they were facing. I helped them or supported them with the patents and trademark strategy. I also structured the contracts and agreements part for them and even helped them with the legal formalities for investor fundings.
Since this conversation is happening around Women's Day, what message would you like to share with all the women who want to build something of their own?
What I would say is, for a long time, many women were taught to be careful before taking the next step or just to double check that everything is fine. But if there is one thing I've learned from working with founders for years is that no one really has everything figured out when they start. Some people just look more confident while figuring it out. And sometimes the biggest barrier not capability, but hesitation. So I've met incredibly talented women who think they need to know everything before starting. But honestly, if founders waited to know everything, no startup in the world would have launched. Don't don't wait for building something meaningful. There are times when people would say this is not the right moment, just double check things or wait for the right time. But if you ask me, if like I have worked with founders, and this is what I have learned from them is there's really no right time to start anything. No, nobody has figured out anything. They are just figuring it out while building some things. And sometimes what I see is the biggest barrier with women are not capability, but it's hesitation. What I would like to say is don't question yourself. Don't think that you are not capable enough. You are you are strong women. That is why you are kind of running the families, you are running the company, you are working as a founder, you are working in an executive role. So as a female, as a female, we should be supporting each other. Just start with what you have. Ask questions. Take the first step, even if you feel slightly uncomfortable. And please don't shrink your ambition just to make others feel comfortable. Sometimes the most sometimes the most powerful thing a woman can do is simply say, "Why not me?" Don't yourself, don't doubt yourself. Just start whatever you want to build, whatever you want to do. Just start doing it. Because
I think this is what we needed to hear, Pragya.
Yeah, yeah.
That is actually very helpful. Uh, and in every interview, I think we are collecting lessons that we need in our current situation. And this does not helps us, but all the women around the world and people who are going to watch this video.
agree. And so my message is actually start with whatever you have. Ask questions. Take the first step, even if it feels uncomfortable to you. Don't shrink your ambition. And as women, we should start being more powerful instead of saying why should we do this or that. We should ask ourselves, why not me? And let's begin.
Yeah, and take the initiative to do things.
Right.
Right. Totally. That's a fantastic point.